my family was like basically Broncos fans. Looks like you're just starting rolling right now.
Yeah, I know. See,
You're good.
we're gonna have to do the whole thing again. We're learning. I didn't go live right away. It's okay.
I'll just restart.
Let's start again. Anyway, I'm Rob of Dolphin Thirsty. This is Justin of JPF Scout. Great follow on Twitter. It's our first broadcast, and I forgot to hit go live. So hello good, again, Steve, out there.
Right.
So anyway, all right, Justin. So I asked you the old standard since it's our first show together. Tell me how you became a Dolphin fan, and I'll tell you how I became a Dolphin fan.
Oh, like I was saying, one night on 1985, the Dolphins were playing the Bears, and the Bears was undefeated. Everybody in my household was Broncos fans, and I was like, yeah, man, I want to be something. I want to be different. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I love Dan Marino, so like that's the reason why I'm a Dolphins fan. I love Danny. It just kind of held with me ever since I was a kid, and like I see that aqua and orange, and just like something starts flowing inside my blood, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, this team's so dope. Even when they were not good, I was like, oh, that color scheme, you know, everything about it just appeals to me. It was a classy organization with Don Shula and everybody, so that was my team. So it's been my team since 1985, so I'll never go back. I won't waver.
Yeah, hey, that's it. That's how I rolled too. And yeah, I think Dan Marino made a lot of people Dolphin fans back in the day. If you ask a lot of people, they will say Dan Marino's the guy. But me, I'm a little before that era. I'm like AJ Dewey era, like
that's
Woodley and Strock era that's where I joined. And I'm born and raised down here in South Florida. Uh-huh. So it's just like the team and that 1981 playoff game where the famous hook and lateral play, that hooked me into the Dolphins forever. So that's how I became a Dolphins player. And, you know, though, unfortunately, some of our best moments are way back when we were younger. We needed the new Dolphins who give us, you know, give our kids and generations something to
Who's your
about,
favorite Dolphins player of all time then?
Oh, my favorite player, man, is I would say my first favorite player was AJ Dewey. He just was like the AFC Championship game where he had the 3 interceptions and one for a pick 6. That hooked me in. But of course, Marino, Duper, Clayton, him and Dwight Stevenson of all things, just because I thought he was like the most dominant. You know, most kids don't like offensive line. I just thought he was so dominant and he was so great. It was fun watching, actually. He was like an offensive lineman you liked watching. So it was awesome.
Yeah, all I could do as a kid is go back and look in like books and, you know, like magazines on how good that team was in like the 70s. And like, damn, I was like, oh, I wish I was alive back then to see it, you know?
No, I know. That's it. That's all I can, because I was only like 3 and 4 years old when they won their Super Bowls back in the. So, you know, all I can do is here. But I still celebrate every year another team falls from the undefeated ranks.
Right, just like the other night, right, when the Commanders beat the Eagles.
Oh yeah.
Pop the corks. Everybody was pretty happy about that. I know I was. I was partying about that. I was like, yeah, we keep that only undefeated team. Oh, thanks, Steve. You guys doing a great show last night, man. You guys always kill it.
So, yeah, I mean, that's it. So what you got for us today, Justin, now that we're jumping in? I know you did a lot of research for this show. Look, you showed me the pre-stuff, so I'm going to let you be the king of the show. So what do you got for us? What do you want to talk about first?
You know, my style's a little rambunctious. Usually we jump in with like some Method Man, Redman. I'd be like some Funk Master Flex, and I'd be like, yeah, welcome to Dolphins Daily, boy. Oh, yeah, host with Thirsty and your boy JPF Scout here. Yeah, we're going to kick it all off, aqua and orange, baby. But you'd have like some music blasting in the back too, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's great, man. You can always bring the joy.
Yeah, we'll bring that flavor once we get all the kinks worked out and stuff. That's kind of like my flavor. But we're gonna keep the Dolphins here. You know, it's Dolphins Daily. We're gonna talk about our team. We're 7-3 right now. We're in first place of the AFC East. We're looking real good. We're stacked. We're coming off of a win. You know, you see the shows. I watch your show. You know, vice versa. Everybody's tuned in a little bit. I would think so. But we've been talking about the Dolphins all year. We had some projections going at the beginning of the year. Maybe not a lot of people seen us going on the run like maybe that we are on right now. Maybe you had us a game back or a couple games ahead or undefeated. Shit, who knows? You know? But I mean, where did you have us at the beginning of the season?
No, I was hopeful with all the off-season additions, but as the, like I said, during being at my age, you know, I'm just waiting for the old saying, waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Shoe to drop.
You know, because it's just like, but I'm starting really just to enjoy it. And I'm saying, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this run while we're having it.
Dude.
I'm just going to enjoy it while we're having it. If the other shoe drops, it's going to drop anyway, whether I enjoy it now or don't enjoy it now. So I might as well enjoy the winning. And, so I think we're like you. I don't know. I don't look at the schedule saying we're going to go run the table, but I do think there's not one game on that schedule that I'm like, oh my God, a few years ago I would have said, okay, we're going to lose to the 49ers, we're going to lose to Buffalo, we're going to. But now I look at that schedule and say we could win if we bring our A game and they bring their A game, we can match up with any of those teams, and it's just it's a great feeling to have finally because like I said, for a few years you just knew. And last year, we got toward all we had to do was win that Tennessee game, but you just knew going into the Tennessee game, you hear it's bad weather. You're like, oh my God, we go again. And sure enough, here we go again. But I don't think our team this year that we have with the coaching staff and the players, how they're playing, and Tyreek Hill being a leader that gets these guys saying, listen, it's all about winning. And, Tyreek comes from a winning organization. So he knows. Yes, because a lot of people can talk the talk, but he actually came from a place where they, where they've been to the Super Bowl, where they've been to AFC championship games. So he knows what it takes to get there. And I think he's been great. And outside of that, of course, his production on the field has been tremendous for Tua. But I think just that leadership, and the minute he got here, Tyreek Hill was talking up Tua, saying, that's my quarterback. He's the most never played with him. He was talking on, he's like the most accurate I've seen. And I love that from day one. And he's always trying to get Tua to go out and about with him. He's just, he's been great on and off the field.
Yeah, his leadership has been one thing that stood out to me because when he first got here, I honestly was like, man, oh look, Steve, he has them at 11-6. See, like that's what I was saying. Like, what do you got him at? What do you have them finishing at though, Rob?
I say. Oh man, I see maybe only 2 more losses along. I think because get to that 3 more losses, I'd be disappointed. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season 11-6, I would have been, hey, I'd take it right now. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. But now that we're at 7-3, you figure I'm with you. I hate counting, but I'm not the coach or player, so I can kind of count. I'm counting the Houston one as a win. Now in the 3, once we hit San Francisco, Chargers, Bills. If we can go 2 of 3 in those, it's great. And of course, it'd be great to take the 2 AFC teams out, Yes. But it's just because when it comes down to tiebreakers at the end, it's going to be better to take the AFC teams out. But, that's a tough stretch. So I could see maybe, I don't know. I'm afraid we may lose 2 of those 3. But I just don't know. The 49ers is the unknown because I know Shanahan supposedly owns his pupils for the most part, other than when they played in the playoffs last year. The Rams finally beat them. But it's like, so I'm a little worried about that he's going to know McDaniel's game. But also, though, we got big stars. So I don't care how well sometimes they still get open because it's like incredible. So it's just like the unknown. But those are 3 tough things. And then New England, they're like, we normally been beating them lately, even on, both games. So that's great. Last year we beat them both games. We already beat them at home this year. But that's still a tough game, and Belichick still has them playing well. And that's eating at him when everyone says, oh, he hasn't been beaten Tua ever. I see that as a tough game. The Jets at home, I'm kind of thinking we should win. I think the Jets game, it looks like they blew us out, but a lot of that came late. And it's just we had our quarterback that was supposed to be the back. We already had him down to our backup. Then on the first play of the game, he's out. So that Jets game, not making excuses because, you got to play the game. But so I think that Jets game's not realistic of where we really stand.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of stuff going on during that stretch of games right there with that Jets game that, starting from the Bengals game that kind of, it just everything kind of compiled on us at once. And then Teddy, got into a protocol where we couldn't use him. Like we were going through a lot of shit to say at that time. And then we got on the field and it just looked like we were a step behind all game. And then a lot of the, we got motorboated there, but it was to the end with garbage points.
Yeah, no, that was just the main, that was the main game that we really that was our worst game of the year by far.
I think so.
We didn't look prepared. The Jets won it. It's kind of like us against New England, the great years that New England were great. So I think Jets really got up to beat us. Like they're like, all this tough and the Dolphins had beaten them a lot lately. So I think they were just out to really try to beat Miami. And
I agree.
Just like, we went out all out against Buffalo that game, and then we were, kind of dying that Thursday night. So it's just like, it just shows that, sometimes teams really go all out to beat the team. And I think that's what the Jets did to us.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, to get back into like the beginning of the season talk when Tyreek first got here and what we were assembling, like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, at the beginning of the season, I was hella skeptical. But as I started, putting the roster together, looking at what projections that we could possibly have, like, players, where they're going to fit in, how we're going to use them, I started to actually buy in a little bit more, but I wanted to see them play. And then after I saw them play, I was starting to, like, really, drink the Kool-Aid. I thought we had a really good team, especially after I see them play some preseason games. But, at first I was really skeptical seeing Tyreek out there with Rick Ross and stuff. And I was like, oh, no, dude, oh, no. I hope we don't get done in dirty here. You know what I mean? But then Tyreek got out there, and like you were talking about previously, about showing all his leadership skills, man. And he's everything in that and a bag of chips. Like, the money we're paying him, it's worth it, because he's bringing something to our team that, when we got him, like, you probably heard me tell the story, when we got him, I almost wrecked my car off the road, because, like, right in my mind, I was like, oh my God, what that does immediately for your offense is, like, it's amazing what it does. Like, there's some plays where Tyreek is a decoy and takes 2-3 guys with him, and it leaves everybody open, which I knew was going to be the case when we got into the season. Is the middle of the field's going to be wide open, or whatever he wants going to be wide open. But when we start talking about, like, that, what you're talking about right there with the remaining schedule, Texas, San Francisco, the Chargers, Buffalo, Green Bay, the Patriots, and the Jets. I said this on the post game after we beat the Bills, and I'm not going to waver from this. Every game, it's any given Sunday, you could lose a football game. We all know that.
Right,
but, man, the way this team is playing right now, just sexy, man. We're looking so good. Our quarterback's playing at a high level. Like, I'm just so fired up right now. I say screw it. We're gonna beat the Texans. We're going to go on the West Coast trip, and we're going to beat San Francisco. We're going to beat the Chargers, and we're going to come back across the country, go back home, sleep in our own beds, and go up to Buffalo, and we're going to beat them too.
Wow.
I think that's what's going to happen. And then somewhere along the lines, maybe we lose one here or there, throw one, but I think we're going to go on a run right here. I think we're feeling good. I think we're feeling that high off that complete game that we played. And I think that's going to carry over as like a segue into the rest of the season, and we're just gonna ride this thing.
I hope so.
Ride this thing like a train.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe 12-5 if I had to twist my own. But your record sounds, because if we win the 3 games you said, then I know it's going to be better than the 12-5. Because I see us maybe. That's just all I'm worried about, because it's tough going out in the West Coast.
It is,
and it's
rough.
But and the Chargers, they're decent, and they're not. I still think we're the better team, but it's going to be, they're going to be fired up for that game too. It's going to be, it's going to be made the Herbert versus Tua game.
It's going to be
no matter what we say, but it's Dolphins versus Chargers that week on Twitter, especially. It's going to be Tua versus Herbert.
Yeah,
I would hate to be on the losing side. We're never going to hear the end of these Herbert guys. The one thing we always talk about Tua, I mean, before he started putting up the elite numbers he's doing now, we said, well, he's a winner. So if he goes and beats us, then we're going to be like, oh, great. We're going to have to hear Charger fans yap for a while.
Yeah.
So, but
it's funny because the people that hate our quarterback and don't like Oos, like Lewis and Pete and all those guys who are on Twitter who were praying for him to get hurt, they'll be Chargers fans. They're Dolphins fans that claim they are. I don't really think that.
I know. That's why I say that's
they'll
silly.
Be Chargers fans that day, watch, because they want Herbert to – that's their guy. They want Herbert to beat us. But you know what? We play the Chargers well. I'm not worried about the Chargers out of that stretch, dude. I'm worried about the 49ers.
Yeah, the 49ers.
They got
49ers are definitely a tough matchup. When I was watching them play, those two teams played the other night. They were both looking tough, though. They both had better defense than I thought. But, they both played a little better on defense. But, the 49ers, once they get rolling with that running game, they're
hard
crazy.
To beat.
And then they mix in a little Debo, and, they're hard to beat. So,
it's funny you talk about that mixing with Debo. Like, I think we have that in a variety of players on our team, but I'd love to see Ezokama become that Debo Samuel type guy.
I know.
Where you like use him on jets and out of the backfield on like a Texas out, quick slants, digs, drags. Option choice route would be the really thing where I want to see that dude operate. But I mean, we'll see what happens if they bring him along slowly.
I know.
You know what I
I
mean?
know.
So,
Oh, they're bringing him super slowly. He's
they're
been
slow cooking
inactive.
that dude.
He hasn't even gotten on the active list, but they know they can't stash him away on the. They're going to lose him if they try to stash him on the practice squad.
Oh yeah,
so
you could never do that with that guy. They'd lose him the next day.
Oh no, they would lose him in an instant. So they're stuck making him inactive every week, but so they're stuck with a roster spot for right now. But I wish he played some special teams or something to at least give him some reps out there to give us hope. But we'll see. I like you. I think it's a good pick, and obviously Daly too, because we were already stacked at receiver when we got him.
I know.
So it's just
so
crazy.
After this, we're almost ready to jump into the next segment here, but one little piece left is that, excuse me, we are now going on like a 2-week break with the Dolphins. They've already had a couple days off. The next game that we play, in fact, you're gonna get your mashed potatoes and your turkey wing in and all that stuff in before we see another Dolphins football game. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that transpires in between that time and now. Our next game is November 27th. So
I know.
We have a little bit of time here. The Dolphins are going to be taking care of a little bit of in-house decisions that need to be made during this time. And this is a great time to jump into the next segment that we're going to talk about today. And honestly, it's if you have not already, smash that like button, and don't forget to like and subscribe for anybody who is watching. So we love each and every one of you. Me and Thirsty enjoy your company. We love talking some Dolphins with you, and we're here to rock. So
thank you. I forget about that. Thank you very much.
You just got to slide it in there every now and then. It's like you want to catch good publications and good writing, go to dolphinsthirsty.com. See, it's just like, bam, you just got to slap that in there real quick. Have everybody, going and checking out the good stuff. The next segment we're going to talk about, though, is crucial for the Dolphins because they got a lot of in-house decisions to make. And from what I've noticed, they're very my buddy Spliff and everybody that's in the spaces would agree with me with this. They're very reactive. They're not a proactive kind of a team. They don't think 3 steps ahead. They're like, oh, damn, we suffered an injury. Now let's fix it, which is a reactive thing. They don't have that stuff on standby. But the biggest thing into this next segment we're going to talk about is going to be Byron Jones. What's going to happen with Byron Jones? Is he going to come off the PUP list? Will he get the designation for return? I don't know. I have no information. I have no insider. I'm not that deep with the organization. In Colorado, I can't just reach out and be like, hey, what's going on over there? Because if I did, I would. I wish I had some info like that. I wish I did.
Too.
We were on your show, or I was tuning into the show where you guys were talking about Brendan Scarlett coming in for a tryout as well. That was reported by Barry Jackson. We'll see if that is yet to come into fruition or not. What do you think about Byron Jones, man? I mean, he's been Mr. Casper, the friendly ghost, this whole season. I know a lot of people are pissed off saying that we got jacked like we did with Will Fuller. But
I know.
What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know, because I think this past Monday they finally didn't even ask the coach, because every week they've been asking, any update on Byron Jones this week? This week they didn't even say. He didn't mention it, so maybe I think he has a press conference today. I don't know. But maybe someone will bring it up again, but no one even – because normally Barry Jackson brings it up, and, it's almost always the first question. But, he even joked last week, the coach did, about, if you're tired of asking about it, how about the guy up there? So I don't know, because they don't even talk about it really anymore. So I thought if we doesn't come by after the bye week, I was thinking all season, then that's it. Because this is the perfect time, get him ready, get him his practice – start the practice clock going with the bye, not even have to worry about this upcoming week, and let him go at it. But if he doesn't come back by this
bye week,
by the bye week, I don't see it. I don't see it happening the rest of the year. So I mean, I could be wrong. He could come back the minute and play against the 49ers. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
If he's not back by the Houston game, I've written him off, and I'm just enjoying the Cater Kohus and guys stepping up.
Playing, huh?
And how about Bethel, man? The guy that's been a special teams guy almost his whole career, and he's standing up, playing well. It's just like, I don't know if that's Sam Madison and Sertan getting the most out of these guys, being really good at their job, or these guys just being underappreciated in the past. And now,
we're real lucky to get Bethel and Shell, and we got Flowers as well. When we suffered a bunch of injuries right there, we had that string of injuries. Bethel is definitely, like you just said, he's a career special teams guy, but he has played in base sets before. He has 3 career touchdowns, I think, by interception. A slew of tackles out there. He's not the best cornerback or defender, but he can get you by in a pinch.
Yeah. That's Steve chiming in on his guy. So, but who's that? It's true.
Who's his guy?
No, chiming in on Byron Jones too.
Byron. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I think everybody wants to come off of that contract, and if we could, maybe we will. I don't know what's going to happen with it. It's that's just as big as a question mark as what's going to happen with Mike Gesicki. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no clue, dude.
I think Gesicki they're just going to let walk, unfortunately, at this point.
I think you're right. I think you just hit that right on the head. Boom. Yeah. I think you're right, because you're going to get nothing for him at this point. Yeah. What are you going to do?
And they're just going to, they should get the most out of him this year, man. Use him as much as you can for what his strength. Forget about the blocking. That's not his thing. Just get him out there catching touchdowns and
please,
in the red zone. That's because he's the one big guy that we really can get up there and out jump someone for a ball and stuff. We should be able to. I'm sure he will. I think that's why this coach is special, though, because he doesn't just rely on one horse every week. He gives him Gesicki's not even part of the game plan. Then all of a sudden, boom, they get hit with Gesicki, So then they're like, oh, they can't run it. Then all of a sudden, boom, here, meet Mr. Jeff Wilson.
Do you think that has a lot to do with scheme specifics and game-by-game matchups? Because I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking with him.
When I look at the Dolphins roster, I know you've looked at it too, we have a lot of guys that are like matchup nightmares, man, on offense. And then on defense, we have the guys to match up against those offensive nightmares. Like, per se, there's almost a 2-headed dragon per each position that we have on the field, sprinkled across both sides of the ball. Like, you can even go as far as to say that on offense as well. We have Teron Armstead as one of the best left tackles in the game. Connor Williams looks like a great pickup. Man, that was my favorite pickup during the whole offseason. I love T. Steady, but I love the Armstead pickup because I knew we needed somebody from the interior. So when they moved him to center, I was a little skeptical, but damn, it's looking like it's worked out. It's working out. A couple high snaps here and there, whatever. Yeah. But the one position I'd like to see us get more out of, you were just referring, it was the tight end spot. I'd like to see them run Gesicki up the seam a lot more, use him as a chains mover. You've watched a lot of Chiefs game in the past before we got Tyreek. I remember us specifically getting beat by Tyreek Hill on a game in Kansas City on a 4th and 1 where they just drug him right over little out real quick, dude, because no one can beat him across the field. And that's what you should do. You need a first down, go to Tyreek. You need a first down, go to Gesicki. Honestly, I love the way we're running the football right now. It's turning me on, man. We're winning the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football right now, and it's impressive, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's great, especially this past week was a thing of beauty. God. It's just like
it was.
You're like I said, I always give you kudos for the Jeff Wilson because you were calling that name before we actually pulled the trigger on the trade. You had nailed Jeff Wilson as a good fit for the Dolphins. And he's come in as a perfect fit. His first week, he catches a touchdown and showed a couple runs where he ran over people against Chicago. Then this week, with a whole time to practice with the Dolphins, he had over 100 yards in the game. He had over 7 yards of carry.
And awesome.
It was a great performance. I know some people say, because the Browns defense, but the Browns, they're not bad. They got a lot of talent on that defense. I know maybe they're not the best against the run, but they still got a lot of studs on that defense. And it's just like, we controlled them, and it was great to see.
Yeah, it was, man. Like, honestly, like, people can be like, oh, well, you only play the Browns as the Brown defense. We can only play who's on our schedule.
Yeah.
It's not we made the schedule up. Like, we play who's there. We beat who's in front of us.
Yeah.
The thing that I like about this Dolphins team, man, is they're very resilient. Like, they'll find a way to beat you if you open up the door for them. So if you're like, well, hey, we're going to take away Tyreek and we're going to try to take away Waddle too, well, then we're going to run the ball. And then if you take away the run, well, then we're going to throw over the top.
Yeah, I know.
Like, there's really no way you're going to beat this offense. Like, I was talking about it in the spaces. Dr. Brown was in there yesterday with me, and I got a little bit excited. But I was talking about how, like, you could play cover 1, C2, C3, C4. You could play zone, and we'll eat you up. It doesn't matter what defense you play against this offense. We will find a way to beat you.
No, I do. I do agree with that. And it's such a good feeling finally.
It is, man. It's refreshing, isn't it?
I know it's really refreshing because the past couple of years, we're like, be happy with 17 points, 20 points. We're like, woo! Now now you just know that we're going to put some points up there. And there were some games this year, but mainly without Tua. I hate to say it, but it was mainly without Tua. We just never got in a good groove. And that's a lot. I don't even blame the backups because they came in and they got hurt. And then it was like so it's just like, it was just a wacky stretch there where we got a quarterback hurt every game, it seemed like.
I know, wasn't it? But it's crazy how, like, it flipped a switch. Like, it's nuts. And I know it's just a coincidence, but I know it sounds cheesy. Like, I actually sent Tua Tagovailoa a direct message after he got hurt. Yeah, I don't know if you heard me. I've told the story before, but I was like, hey man, I'm sorry that happened to you. Talk about how I like him as a player, but I also, in my mind, and talked to him about. I'm sure he's heard it before. Darryl Bevel, his coach is in his head, how he needs to not play that warrior ball no more and give himself up and slide and just throw it away when you feel pressure coming in or your life is threatened or anything like that. And I know it's not because of me or anything like that. If it is, great, dude. Tua, send me a message. Dog, love you. Oos. But it was hella funny watching him, and they did that. He was mic'd up during the game, and I caught it last night, and I was like, damn, this is so dope. Yeah. And like he's going through it. And at the end of the game, he's talking to Myles Garrett, and he's like, oh man, you almost have me in my graveyard. You almost have me in your graveyard. And I was just, I'm gonna throw that one away. And they laughed about it and got a good laugh. Like, how loose this quarterback is right now and the way he's feeling right now is like night and day, you guys. The locker room is different. Like, I'm hearing players talk differently, man. They sound differently. Jerome Baker, like a couple months ago, was like, this is the best locker room I've ever been in. He made that statement. I believe it wholeheartedly. When I really got excited was like a month or two ago when Duke Riley, I don't know if you caught it. Duke Riley had an interview where he was talking about Oos and how he plays the ukulele and all. He's like, he's so talented. But his interview right there was captivating, bro. He's like, he's such a good guy, man. Like, talking about just wholeheartedly how he loved his quarterback and loved his team. You could tell they all love each other, bro.
No, I agree. I mentioned something like that last night because a lot of time you hear players talk and it just, they're talking just because they know they can't rip a guy in the front of the media.
Yep.
But they just feel like they're going through the motions. But when you hear these guys, they just feel, even when they're talking about their coach or whatever, they just all talk from the heart, it seems.
Yep.
And it seems like this is a bunch of good guys, and that they're ready to win some football games too. Because, I can care less if they're good guys if they don't win. But to be good guys on top of winning is going to be a great sensation. It just seems like they're gelling together. It really seems like they're coming together. And yes, we had some bumps in the road, but there's no team other than the 1972 Miami Dolphins that aren't going to have some bumps in the road along the way where you're going to lose some games and you're going to start getting down a little bit. So, we overcame that. We lost 3 games in a row, but now we've bounced back, and won 4 games in a row. So it's, it's good to see. It's good to see the team growing in front of our eyes. And in the past, I wouldn't be so confident. I mean, playing a bad Houston team, I wouldn't be saying, oh, that's going to be I just feel as a fan, there's no way we're going to lose. I mean, if the Dolphins don't show up and play their best game, they're going to lose. Are you there, Justin? Yeah. Okay. You're moving a little bit of slow on my end. But anyway, I think I lost my. There you are. I lost you for a minute. Oh. I lost him again. Anyway, I lost my co-host for a minute.
I'm back, bro.
Okay. There you are. So anyway, it's been a great feeling, man.
It'll come back. Everything should come back.
I can't say it. All right, there you are. I think. Well, you're still frozen on my end.
Are you there? Thirsty.
Yeah. Okay. You're there?
See, it's all good. Yeah, these are the kinks you'll have to work out. Like, it happens sometimes on a StreamYard. But I'm back. It looks like you're coming back into play right there. But hell, man, I mean, it's looking good. It's looking like we have, and it's feeling to me like we have all the right pieces in all the right places, and like it feels like a Cinderella story is coming together with this team. Like even the when they after the game the press conferences or like they'll show you the videos from inside the locker room, man, they're so live, like everybody's fighting for each other, and that's what it's all about, is having everybody buy in. If you can't get everybody to buy into your system and buy into your team, you're not going to win football games in this league. This is the NFL. Look at the Raiders right now. Look at the Packers right now. And they're having problems down there. Like Devontae Adams came out specifically and was like, "Hey, everybody's not bought in." You know, you look what Carr came up on the podium, started crying like, "Oh, I'm pissed off." So you know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of stuff that's going to happen when everybody's not bought in.
No, but, I agree.
I mean, with this, like we're talking about a little bit about Byron Jones, like how he wasn't going to come back. I mean, if he doesn't, that leaves like right now there's one open roster spot, one on the 53-man roster.
Right.
Like, what are we going to do with that spot? Are we just going to leave it open for Byron Jones all damn season long? Because we can't do that. Like you just said, and I just said and agreed with you, because that's how I feel about it, is after this bye week, if we don't have Byron Jones, that's it. Yeah. It's done. We're not going to get Byron Jones. Like, what are we going to do? You know, we got to fill that spot somehow. Like, you already know how I feel about it. I've said publicly, I think we should make a poach. I think we should try to poach Raymond Johnson III off the Bengals practice squad, or Akeem Spence off the 49ers practice squad. Those will both immediately take that roster spot if we don't have Byron Jones. Or I would rather just bring Byron Jones back. So there's a lot of things we can do with that there. I don't know what they're going to do. Or they can even go a different route. There's also another option. And that option is go get a nose tackle. And I know that Boyer has experience with Danny Shelton. Bring him in, make him play nose tackle with Jenkins, and kick Raekwon Davis out to 3 tech. That's an option you can use. You know, or you can bring in the rookie Shelvin. It's either Shelvin or Shelton, which is on the Bengals practice squad, but Danny Shelton's on a different practice squad. Okay. And that's an option. I mean, it sounded difficult what I said right there, but anybody who knows what I'm talking about understands. Like, you could kick.
Hey, I'm losing you again, Justin. But yeah, I know you're the man I go to that know all these teams' practice squad, who's where on what roster. I'm always impressed when I see you, like I say, tweet out. You nailed 2 Dolphins trade targets right before the trade deadline. You said in the dream scenario they can get Bradley Chubb. Boom, they got Bradley Chubb. And you said under the radar for sure.
Man, we're back.
You're back. You're back.
Yeah, back again. Dolphins,
yeah, I was giving you kudos to it. I was giving you the kudos out there, saying that you're the man that knows like all these teams.
Back in there, bro. Watch.
Yeah, I don't know how you know all these teams' rosters so well. Like who's stacked on a practice
squad. Anyways, we still need to make that happen. Some sort of a roster fill. It's been sitting.
Yeah. Well, you're going in and out on me. You're going in and out on me. But yeah.
You're not gonna.
Okay.
You know, and if you did, thirsty.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's what I say. This is live. We're gonna have some bumps in the road. A live broadcast is fine.
Practice squad spots that are open. With Vernon McKinley III. Oh, you're back. I just started.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah, I had lost you. So.
That's all right.
It's okay. Hey, that's the internet, man. It's live show, so we're gonna have some bumps along the way. So it's all good.
Yeah, we were talking just a minute ago just about the practice squad and the last spot on the 53-man roster, which, you know, those were my options I have for us. What do you think as far as those go?
Yeah, no, I agree. They definitely need to fill that final spot. And like I was saying, but you went out, you didn't even give me a chance to give you kudos. I don't know how you know so many teams' practice squads, who's where. I give you kudos all the way for knowing all that. So I leave that as your specialty. But yeah, they definitely going to have to fill that final roster spot. And I'm not sure if it's going to be Byron Jones at this time because I think Michael. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're there. I hear you. Okay. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be Byron Jones. So I don't think it's going to be Byron Jones like you. So I leave it to you to know all the practice squads and like you said, Barry Jackson pointed out, the guy working out
Yeah.
for us this week and everything. So, whether we make that a final roster spot or is he just a practice squad guy that they're planning on, we don't know. So that's all
I think
to
if they
be.
work out Brennan Scarlett and see what they like, that'll be the guy who takes Ogba's spot. I think
Okay.
it's all depending on what they see in a tryout, though. And I do not think that Brennan Scarlett's going to be the only guy at the tryout, you guys. There's going to be other guys that are going to be there. I guarantee it. Maybe even a kicker or two. So I wouldn't put it past the Dolphins. They're going to try to bring out all the horses here. But with those 2 practice squad spots that they're trying to fill, they have to come from somebody that's off the street. I noticed a guy yesterday. I forgot his name. I'm sorry, on Twitter. But he brought up Alex Okafor, and I'm all for Alex Okafor taking one of those practice squad spots. I don't know if I'm all for him taking the 53-man roster spot because he's on the street right now. I think we should use that spot as a poach. Like when I go to poach a guy, like I honestly want to poach from teams that are going to be in the playoffs, like Buffalo, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Jets. I know the one I want's off the Bengals, but I don't care. The player exceeds their positioning in the ranks right now. That player that I want, that or Raymond Johnson III, I did a little breakdown and thing on him the year he came out of the draft and he was undrafted. He's a beast, man. He fits perfect profile for what we want. I put a lot of guys on my Twitter too that would fit that role. This all started with Adam Butler getting hurt at the beginning of the season and then getting, cut off the team. Nothing stops us from right now from picking up your phone or even the GM and being like, hey, Adam, are you healthy right now? Do you want to come in and play some snaps? See, if you put on your little GM cap right there and you start to put these tea leaf pieces together, you'll see that that's where they're probably going to go first is like an Adam Butler or somebody who's been there before, an Okafor. Right. Like I brought up, who else was? Star Latui. Star Latui was a 3-tech, nose tackle, whatever. He's more of a 3-tech. But that played for the Bills that's 32 years old that's on the street right now. That's another guy you could bring in and put on the practice squad. You got 2 spots open. And in my opinion, they should put someone like an Okafor right there. If you've heard of this name, Sheldrick Redwine, he was on the team during.
Yeah, he was on for a bit.
Yep, you have someone like that you could put on the back end of the practice squad, or DeAndre Johnson, he was on the preseason roster. Darius Hodge, Owen Carney, Jordan Williams. These are guys who were on the roster already. And if you pull these guys and put them on the practice squad, I'm not going to complain or bitch about it. And the reason why is because they already know the scheme. They know the setup. They know the routine. They've already had their cup of coffee with the Dolphins. They know what they're getting into. I don't think you'll see them go out of left field and do something too crazy. So, but they're going to fill the spots.
Yeah, they're going to have to, especially since you're a playoff caliber team this year. You want a full roster with as many healthy bodies as you can, moving forward that fit your scheme. And, it's awesome. I know you brought up kicker in that thing. Yeah, that's a one negative so far, really, because, the defense have had their bad moments. The offense have had their bad moments, but overall they're coming together. But special teams and especially Sanders have been a little bit of a disappointment so far this year.
They have. And you know what? The kickoff from the very first kickoff from the game last weekend, it didn't start good. That coverage was garbage.
No, it was.
You can't just overrun a play like that. You have to kind of form a wall all the way across the field and have, defenders to defend it. And they overran the play. Even Javon Holland, man, he came screaming up the gut of it and actually skidded out and fell on his ass and overran the whole play. If he's going to play special teams, I need him out there making tackles. Special teams is a very important part of the game, you guys. It's part of football. It's huge. And you're talking about Jason Sanders, I want to talk about this just for a minute. I think this is very important to talk about. Right now, a kicker is, I think Evan mentioned it, it's like a goalie, one gets by you and next thing you know, it's in your head. It's very true. A kicker's job is the hardest job, I think, in the NFL besides playing either cornerback or quarterback. But it's rough, they miss a kick, and it could be a numerous things that's getting Jason to miss these kicks. Some people can be like, oh, it's not the holder. He's got Morstead. I don't think it's the holder. It could be a numerous different things, you guys. It could be from Jason Sanders' kick foot like his kick foot's not hitting the ball on the right place. Like it could be hitting it more to the toe part of it instead of
Right.
the inside part of it. You see what I'm saying to you? It could be like he's not hitting it in the right ball placement. It could be his plant foot that goes in front of that kick foot that's going wide left, more to his left instead of stepping toward the ball. Like these are the things that the special teams coach, Crossman, Miami Dolphins, holler at me. I'm JPS Scout. You can hire me. I'll come on for a very low wage and I'll help everybody out. No, you guys don't need no help. You guys are doing great down there. But the special teams could use some help. And I think what would solve that is, like I'm saying, let's get in to practice these next couple of weeks before we have a game again. And I want to get Jason a bunch of high repetition reps. I want to kick 50 balls, 100 footballs, during some practice, and I want to find out what's going on. I want to watch his plant foot. I want to watch his foot hit the ball, see what position he's hitting the ball in. Is he middling up the football, like right here with his leg, and hitting it? Is it coming from under here? Is it at an angle? We need to see all of these things, and that's how they're going to iron that shit out.
Yeah, hopefully someone's really watching tightly, because he's just been really inconsistent this year. Like it's not leg strength. It's just he's missing. He's slicing it. They would say in golf. I'm not a golfer, but it's just like one way or the other, and it's not always one. It's just he's all over the place, and it's crazy.
He's not squaring it up. He's not squaring the ball up. He's either missing, like you said, he's like a golf swing. You're exactly right with his leg. He's either too far left or too far right when we need him to square that damn thing up. And it's only going to get better to work out the kinks if you get into practice and start getting it done through repetition. Like, do you know the offensive line coach assistant who was the offensive coach last year? He won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. Jean LePerriere, I think that's how you say his name. He's an assistant on our thing right now. I heard him have that same quote, like how to break down Austin Jackson's game. He's like, you know what? I want to get him in there, and I just want to take a lot of high repetition reps so we can break it down and see what the hell's going on. To me, that was one of the smartest coaching things I've ever heard in my life. And the reason why is because how the fuck are you, excuse my French, how are you going to figure out what's going on down there unless you see reps with you right in front of you and you're like, wait a minute, your base is too wide, your hands are wide, you need to reset and pop quicker. Like if you can teach these guys like that, and they're getting that coaching now, you're going to get better results on the football field. And
I agree. It's just like it could be a little minuscule thing that's just being overlooked. It's just like a batter in baseball too. It's just like he could be on a tear, and all of a sudden he just changes one little stance or a little swing, and he's, then he goes 0 for 20.
Yeah,
so,
it's true, dude.
And it could be something he doesn't even see, and a lot of time teammates may. But there's not many people that. So that's why I hope they got some kicking specialist really watching him. And it's like we missed the days of like Mike Westhoff and those guys as a special, because we always had good special teams, and like I said, maybe it's just someone he needs to look at film or something. Maybe, I'm sure he's just doing something slightly different.
They're gonna be breaking it down, dude. I was just gonna say the same thing. You stole words right out of my mouth. That they're gonna be looking at film and breaking it down and then putting it to the practice field.
Yeah, because he's I really lost confidence in myself in him now. And I'm always it's just like you're like even down an extra point now. We're not even gonna have like
you can't
tie the game up on the last minute, and we're like, all he has to do is hit the extra point. We're not even going to be comfortable with that anymore until it goes through the upright. So it's just like, it's crazy how he can go from all pro to like, in 2 years, all pro to being like on the outskirts of even being on the team. It's just crazy.
I agree. It's nuts, isn't it? And the craziest part about it is, oh, man, I don't want to say this because I love Evan so much. No, Evan just wants to give up on him, and I know a lot of people are really frustrated and pissed off at the guy. But isn't it? It's refreshing to me, man, how McDaniels is like, you know what? We're going to get in there. We're going to fix it. I'm not going to worry right now about it. We're going to get everything worked out. I got full, complete faith that Jason's going to fix this. I like hearing that, man. And the reason why is because you've been a Dolphins fan your whole life just as well as I have, bro. And I've watched us give up on players so quickly, dude. And I'm like, what the hell did you do that for? Just stick with it a little while longer. And I'm not talking about Tannehill. That one was well overdone. I'm talking about guys like Billy Turner, and you traded Wes Welker. I mean, what the hell are you thinking? Like you gotta have guys in there to help you with that. And
there were some other offensive linemen, like you said, Bird Tone, but it was other offensive linemen too that went on and had a great career for the Eagles, some guy, whatever. And it's just like a few guys we've like, really, we've needed this position, and you had them under your nose and you didn't even know it.
You had him in house and you didn't want to work with it. See, and that's the thing that kills me about the Dolphins is, and they're starting to do this now. Is they're starting, like, when's the last time you've seen a player come that they like had undrafted or drafted in the late rounds that they developed and he became a star? Because the one I can see right now that I'm like, damn, he's really catches Zach Sealer. Zach Sealer was a guy we got poached off the Ravens practice squad.
Yeah, that was great.
Look what he is now, man. I knew it was going to happen, bro. I was like, right when we got it, like it was like 2019. I seen him play 2 games, one versus the Bengals, and I was sold. Right there, I was like, you got to resign this guy right now.
Yeah,
I was glad.
And he brings a lot too. He seems like another leader and guy.
Big energy, man.
Yeah, he's a big energy guy. He's another guy that you just need. He's and every he may not always have the sexy number, but he always comes up with some big play. Like he had the forced fumble, and
it was beautiful, wasn't it?
And he ties up. I know it's just great. He just always has something. It's almost every week. He had the big sack the week before or whatever. Yep. So it's just like he's always making some kind of play.
And what's that? It's crazy because it comes from a lot of effort with that guy, right? Like he never stops on a play.
No, he's all out. Which is a good segue to Christian Wilkins. So first off, I would like to say he's balling out.
Balling, son.
Yeah, he's great. But what do you think long-term sustainability to be able to keep him? Because he's going to go into his 5th-year option year. Is that going to be someone they can say, oh, maybe we can flip for someone or a pick to lower the cap? Or are they going to keep him? Because I think he's a baller, but our salary cap I'm not one of these guys that sit there over the cap looking at all the numbers. I don't know who we can cut, but we know when you're giving Chubb all the money we gave Chubb, we gave Tyreek Hill all the money. So, we're giving these guys big money. And then, obviously Tua and Water are going to come due eventually. So I don't know how long are we going to be able. I know if Kaseki money leaves the table, you have some money to play with for Christian. So do you think that'd be it? Him going?
Yeah, honestly, if I had to choose between the two, like on my football team, I'm taking Christian over Mike. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm taking Christian. And the reason why is because of what he brings to the football team.
I know he's another leader, and I would hate to lose him, but I just know he's going into his 5th and final year where, you could franchise, but at that position, it's going to be unreasonable to franchise. So you're basically, they got to wrap him up soon because,
I think you got to re-sign Christian. And the reason why I think you need to take and keep a player like this, I'm going to use a different analogy, and I'm going to use hockey here, but it's in a different sense. Like, you'll get it. Like, Nazem Kadri to the Avalanche was brought there to win a championship and win a cup, and he was a constant irritant, and he's just always finds a way to get underneath players' skin. Yeah. And that's what Christian Wilkins is.
Oh, he does.
Christian Wilkins is an irritant, and he constantly is in the backfield.
He got Josh Allen all pissed off.
Constantly punching people in their nuts and grabbing their nut sack to make them get a flag, drawing flags, doing all those dirty things.
Yeah.
Like that play he hustled in that same the Vikings game and hustled downfield and knocked that tight end out, man. He rocked him hard. Like stuff like that, I don't think you can teach that. I think that's stuff that's naturally built into the football player, and I think that's something that you have to re-sign and value as a front office GM, a head coach going forward. I think he's, I hate to say the heart and soul of our team, but he's a lot of the defensive line of what we need. I wish we had a couple more guys who played like Christian and played like Zach Sealer, because if we did, we would be balling. I think we got him. I think we just need to use him a little bit more. Like we could get more out of Raekwon Davis. I personally think if he played 3-tech, which is move him over and let a big old 350-pound nose tackle play nose tackle and suck up 2. I mean, what really got me excited is we got a lot of that rush and everything against the Browns with just 4. So if you can get organic pass rush with 4, you can start playing a lot doper defense. You can have coverage to drop back underneath it. You can even send a blitz off the side of it and have coverage underneath of it still if you can get 4.
Right.
Yeah, you can do a lot of things now, man.
So in other words, sign the man.
Absolutely.
I agree. Because outside even the football spot, it's just one of those guys that because teammates see how hard he is, how good of a worker he is. He's a leader. He does everything right. He shows up. He celebrates touchdowns with the offense. He runs around. He shows up all the team functions. So just when it starts sending bad messages when you don't sign some of these guys. They're like, oh, is that how they're going to treat me? You're just going to dish me off like an axe, just like a commodity. So I just think he's one of those guys that really you have to find a way, because I know we're going to be up against the cap here in a couple of years, just because you can't keep on trading for big names that aren't draft picks, because you have to give those guys, because we had to give Hill and Chubb money right up front, make the deals worthwhile, or would have been bad trade.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
it's just
You're
they're both
totally
locked
right.
up. But when you lock those up, it means someone else may not get locked up. So I do see money. What's Gesicki's cap number? Like 11 million or so this year?
It's 10.9.
Yeah, so it's
10.9 million.
right around there. So that would free some money up to throw at Wilkins, and then they can always rework Byron Jones. But I heard, like I said, I'm not a cap guy, so I'm not one of these capologists that knows. But I think you take a hit. I mean, if you get rid of Byron Jones, I think the team has a lot of dead space there. So I'm not sure if there's any money. Are you a little more on top of that? Like, would it free up any money for us?
I think it would free up some money. I haven't looked lately into his contract. It's funny you bring that up. Sorry, my mind went somewhere else because I got a guy who helps me scout players who I wanted to bring on to digging in the trenches. And I was like, but I'm starting to do this morning show. And he's like, oh, the mornings would be perfect. And like this guy, he's really cool. His name's Kendall Mack. And he's very assertive, very smart, has very high football IQ. He would know that question a lot better than I would, but I actually do think that would free up some money for us because I've heard him talk about it. I don't know if we'd be forced with some sort of a cap hit or dead money there, which you may, but I think there's a way to get out of that contract, and it is this season that's coming up. So I think there's a way to get some freed up money there. Like you were just saying with the Gesicki, you'll have some freed up money there. Also, people aren't thinking about this. You also have half of the linebacking core is not under contract for next season.
Yeah.
Eric Rowe's not under contract for next season. Michael Dieter's not under contract for next season. All the running backs even I think Jeff Wilson's actually up for a contract as well. All the running backs are up for a contract besides Mostert. I think he's up for a deal too. Edmonds was the 2-year deal. So all of our running backs are up for a deal besides Ingold. So we have some money to play around with if you want to, make some roster moves.
Yeah, so that's good, because I definitely want to keep, there's definitely some keepers, and Christian Wilkins is just a keeper from, his all-out effort on the field every week, but just everything, what he brings, because if you ever watch like these functions he shows, but that's just all part of bonding as a team. He shows up to his team. He was at Tyreek's function and all that. He's just one of those guys, because sometimes off the field comes to on the field, they're like brothers out there at some point.
Right.
They're like, you're not going to mess with my guys,
Right.
So, and I like that. He's just one of those guys I want to see. He does everything right. So I would like to see the Dolphins treat him right and give him his contract. So
I agree with you 100%, and that's why I want to make it right with him and give him a deal. But there's also other money lingering out there too that no one's talking about. Is Melvin Ingram's here on a 1-year deal. Andrew Van Ginkel's due for a deal. There's money to play with right there. You guys.
I know, but you still want to keep them too. So, but I don't think Van Ginkel probably won't be. Maybe, but in the open, I mean, never know who becomes. Open market changes everything, because sometimes they fall in love with someone and you just can't match. That's why I just don't want Wilkins to get to the open market.
Neither do I.
Him up, because once they get to the open market, man, it's just like, well, sorry guys, I love you, but they're offering several more million than you guys are.
Right.
So,
here, let me put a hypothetical by you, and I know that we're just kind of shooting the shit here, and we're like, talking off the side of our hip. But I mean, if it came down to it, I know we can't probably do that deal this season, because right now we don't have no money.
Oh no, we don't. It would have to be in the off season.
Yeah, not till the off season. We're locked into what? We're locked into making a long run in the playoffs and trying to win a Lombardi Trophy, right? We're trying to do that, right? We're trying to get ringed up. So honestly, I don't care if they empty the tank here, just like the phrase McDaniel used in the locker room when they empty the tank to go into this bye week. I don't care if they empty the tank on the roster at this point, because when it gets into the offseason, we can handle all of that stuff. And I think they will. I think they'll lock up Wilkins sometime, in that point. But if we were to make this long run and go on this magical Cinderella story that we're all on right now, right? And we end up going with our, the theoretical horse into the sunset, and we won. What's not to say that maybe some of these guys who have contracts coming up, let's throw them out there: Christian Wilkins, Mike Gesicki, Andrew Van Ginkel, Eric Rowe, Trent Sherfield, Jeff Wilson, well, what's to say some of these guys aren't like, hey, you know what? I love it here in Miami.
Yeah,
Let's run it back, and I'm going to give you guys a whole discount, and let's team build here,
yeah,
because it
some of
could
them
happen.
might, some of them might for sure, because New England, for whatever reason, for all those winning years, they found guys really. Now the guys that didn't give them the home team discount, they just let walk. But a lot of those under the radar guys that were on New England for a long time would give them a hometown discount, and it worked out. So hopefully, we had to get to that level where they say, "Oh, I don't want to leave a winner."
That's
Because
right.
and if you're on a winner, then you're likely to make it all up in endorsements. Like when you're a
All of
Super
it,
Bowl,
buddy.
when you're a Super Bowl champion, and you got a lot more sway with your name. So it's just
Yes, sir.
so it's just so many good things. And like I said, we're going to try and make this show. I have to wrap up here soon. We do.
Yes, sir.
But
Yep, we're
and the
about
guests
ready to
you
hit.
want, any guests you can get, great. Because like I say, this is
yeah.
growing. I didn't even hit the live button. We just got a few guests today. It's okay. We're going to grow together, and hopefully we bring people, build it. They will come, and we will have a fun time as, we go. And I'll learn how to promote us a little bit and stuff. So,
oh, you're doing great, man. I've had fun here just talking Dolphins with you this morning. It's like this,
we can do this a lot, man. This will be our thing. So
this will be cool, dude. Like, I love it. I love talking Dolphins. I love all my Dolphins fans. Like, we got a good thing going here. Our football team's on a magical journey. Everybody should be enjoying this ride right now. Everybody should be happy. You should have a smile on your face. You should be going into the holidays, hug your wife, kiss your kids, enjoy that turkey meal. And don't forget when you clean out that turkey and you break that wishbone, what to wish for. Okay, don't forget that. Let me tell you a funny story here, though. Like, this, I had a story sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but I have a funny story from yesterday. I was going to the bank real quick, and I'm like driving up the street, and I see this, look over to my right, and I see this black Tesla with this Dolphin sticker on the back, and I'm I was like in all my Dolphins gear too. I like my my jersey hoodie on and a beanie, and I pull up to the dude. I'm like, "What's up, bro? What's up? Fins up, dude." He all rolled down the window. We started talking Dolphins and shit right
wow,
there.
that's great. Even all the way out there, that's great to know, But I'm starting to see it in the community when I go out and about now. I'm starting to see more people break out their Dolphin shirts because, unfortunately, South Florida is a very, very bandwagon oriented. Like,
yeah, dude.
It's just it's like kind of a bandwagon,
Thank you,
mentality
Steve.
down here because like no one cared about the Heat, and all of a sudden the big three were on the Heat, and it's like everyone had Heat shirts and Heat license plates and
LeBron James.
Yeah, I know. So it's unfortunately that's how it is. And this back in the day when the Hurricanes used to do their thing and be really good, everyone was flying gear. Now there's like they're hardly seen anywhere. It's just so. But now Dolphins are starting to do well. People are breaking out those T-shirts. I'm starting to see Miami Dolphins T-shirts when I walk into local businesses and stuff.
Same here.
Yeah, so it's it's good. Me, I'm always, man. Even in the season we won 1-15. I was still wearing my Dolphin gear around. So, but that's just me and you and the diehards, So
dude, I remember that. I remember that season. I remember that season. I walked into a gas station, dude. Right, we're 1-15. I'm rocking my Dolphins. Dude's like,
hey,
"What are you wearing right there?" He's like, "That's dedication." I'm like, "Man, shut the hell up."
I know it is. I take it as pride because I know I've had people tell me that they go, "Man, you're really." You're definitely a fan if you're wearing that team stuff. So it's all good. But that's it. It's been so long since we've been good.
That's right.
That it's just it's time to give the Miami fans something to be happy about, and it's looking like I think we have it.
I think so.
So I just think it's going to be good season, and we're going to talk about it almost every day on here. If as long as timing works out and you get your guests, and we're going to have a good time. And like I said, we get all the kinks worked out. This was a great test run, is how I looked at it today.
Oh, dude, this is awesome,
we
bro.
still did a good job. Couple fade out between you and I, but other than that, that's going to happen 10 years from now. We'll still be they're going to be fade outs, unless they perfect Wi-Fi in the next 10 years. But
you never know.
So but and then it is what it is. But anyway, thank you, Justin. Oh yeah, and I'm bad. I'm a horrible promoter, so I love it when you step in. I'm a horrible promoter, but make sure you like and subscribe because I will have this regularly on the YouTube for people that didn't catch it live. So it's just make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to try to do this almost every morning at 10 a.m. unless something comes up. Justin's the guy that's hopefully get some guests in and
we will
hopefully even Steve will visit us once in a while on a live show.
Let's hope
and
so.
It'd be awesome.
We
So
love Steve.
anyway, like I said, it's just about my lunchtime. I'm a creature of habit, so I'm about out of here, Justin. So like I said, we'll do this again tomorrow if you're available.
I am.
And then, all right. So I see you tomorrow. And thank you for the premiere episode here. Fins up. And life is great. And go Dolphins. Let's see. See, this is when I need Bobby. He knows how to hit all the buttons on cue, you know?
Right.
So, he's a guy that hits everything on cue.
Oh,
but anyway, guys, fins up. Go Dolphins. It was a great show and more to come. All right.
Go Dolphins.
Go Dolphins. Bye, guys.